Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2 and today we are going to present about genetically modified soybean. Soybean, which is also known as glycine maize, is a model legume crop that is widely farmed for human food and animal food around the world. A genetically modified soybean is one that has had DNA inserted into it using genetic engineering techniques. Transgenic, which is the technique of transferring genes such as those associated to herbicide resistance from one organism to another, is commonly used to modify soybean. Herbicide-resistant genes are usually put into the genetic structure of this bean so that farmers can use herbicides to kill invasive weeds without affecting the soybean plant. These adaptable beans can be utilized as animal feed, processed into soybean oil, or added to meats like tofu. Farmers generally observe improved yields and fewer losses from bean damage because of soybean biotechnology, which means more supply and more opportunity to feed people.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is IZZAH binti AZMAN. My matrix number are 1211212. Today we will be talking about the processing of the genetically modified soybean. Typically, soybeans are modified by means of transgenic, which is the process of transferring genes from one organism to another. And to produce a genetically modified organism, you have to identify the trait of the plant that you want to have and find out whether the other organism have it or not. In the past, studying the genetic code of individual seeds required planting the seeds, growing the plants to a certain size, and then clipping a pepper hole. But it was all too complicated. Thus, there are a new technology, which a special chipping device that just shaves off just a tiny piece of the seed and grinds it into a powder that can be analyzed with genome mapping technology. Now that we have the genes, the next step is to insert that into the plant. And then it's also a game of chance, where just like breeding, you never know how the offspring will turn out. And after about 2 years of testing, we finally have a potential of winners, and then the further result resulted in a special GMC. So now that we have isolated the new genes, they chip thousands of seeds to find strong candidates grown into the candidate plants in special chambers, and learn the ideal method to plant them in the ground. Now you have to prevent weeds from stealing the nutrients and keep pests from harvesting the crop before you do.
Next is Islamic perspective in halal and haram processing step. Any food products produced through science and biotechnology such as GMO soybean must meet the criteria set by Al-Quran and As-Sunnah as well as the maqasid objective of Sharia. Besides, GMO soybean that halal and comes from halal tayyiban source must be not involved in the gray area shubha and need to be safe, nutritious and clean. Allah says in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 4 means as follows: They ask you, O Muhammad, what has been made lawful for them? Say, lawful for you are all good food. This verse clearly shows the importance to eat good food. According to Islam, the question of halal and haram food depends on the basis of the food, how it's produced, from what is produced, and who produced in the content of GMO soybean. If the original gene found in GMO product were taken from halal sources such as halal plants, then it's halal for Muslims to consume. Otherwise, it's haram for consumption and other indirect uses.
The term haram refers to something that Islam strictly forbids its followers from doing without compromise. In the everyday context, haram is usually associated with dirty, unclean, and unholy food or consumer products. These negative properties are also linked with poor health and sickness, which is why they are classified as haram, whether in the form of organic food such as pork flesh, meat with running blood, or consumer products such as processed food and drinks. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Noble Quran, O believers, eat of the good things we have provided for you and give thanks to Allah if it is indeed Him that you worship. According to this Quranic verse, we should not only avoid haram foods but also refrain from regularly consuming any foods or drinks that consist chemical substances that may harm our bodies. According to Islam, the issue of haram food is determined by the food's origin. Any law found in the Quran and Sunnah cannot be exempt from the two elements of maslahah and mafsadah. Concerning biotechnology products such as GM soybeans, to preserve these fundamentals, Islam has permitted all types of halal and high-quality soybean products. This statement has indirectly prohibited Muslims from eating any GM soybean that can harm human life and health, either directly or through a mixture of halal and haram substances. For GM soybean, a bacterial vector is required to transport genetic material from one species to another. The vector most often used are the type Agrobacterium tumefaciens. In manufacturing, GM soybean products can be developed by transferring genes from both haram and halal origins. If the transferred gene found in GM soybean products came from haram sources, the products will be declared haram and will not be allowed to be consumed by Muslims. For example, the presence of swine DNA in soy could make the product haram. This is due to the fact that any products containing swine DNA violates the precepts of Sharia and is thus prohibited. However, on the market today, all GM soybean products are from approved sources.
Genetically modified soy product is commonly used as an emulsifier in a variety of products in food industry. This is because of lecithin, a byproduct of degumming soybean oil with high economic value as an emulsifier in food processing. Shortening, margarine, baked products, chocolate confectionery coatings, peanut butter, powder mixes, and nutritional food all contain soy lecithin. The addition of lecithin to these products increases their stability, and when lecithin is added to margarine, it prevents moisture from bleeding and decreases spattering during frying. Therefore, lecithin is an important emulsifier in baked goods. It facilitates the rapid and intimate mixing of shortening into the dough. Lecithin is used in chocolate manufacture in levels ranging from 0.25 to 0.35%. It decreases the viscosity of chocolate significantly, allowing the manufacturer to apply a uniform coating, lowering the time necessary for grinding and blending the various components, and generating more stable chocolate. In addition, lecithin is used in candy bars to avoid the separation of chocolate and cocoa butter. Adding lecithin to peanut butter, usually at the concentrations of 1 up until 2%, resulting in a smoother, creamier spread that does not separate over large temperature changes. Aside that, soy proteins are also used in baking to replace expensive egg whites.
Next is the additional information for genetically modified soybean. As we know, genetically modified soybean are designed to endure tougher conditions than conventional soybeans, resulting in a higher percentage of them surviving to be marketed. The advantage of genetically modified soybean is increased protein supply and improved taste. Soybeans are high in protein. Hence, modify it will be an excess of supplies, which is a great source of nutrition and protein. Next, modified soybeans can grow quickly and in big quantities, which is over an extended period of time. As a result, they are more accessible to consumers. However, the disadvantages of genetically modified soybeans, it causes allergenic because the change in the genetic composition of modified soybeans. Certain persons who are sensitive may experience an allergic reaction. Besides, it also leads to alterations in the liver, as overconsumption of genetically modified soybeans can result in toxemia and liver damage. In conclusion, genetically modified soybean give a lot of advantages in production of products. increasing in protein supply and improve the taste of food. Genetically modified soybean also grow quickly in large quantities, which means more opportunity to feed people. Genetically modified soybean is also halal and can be consumed since it has been modified genetically from halal source, which is from plants.